Hi, this is Scott in No Room for Projects, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Kreg Jig hole jig to do the shelf holes. And I've already done one, and I'm going to do this second matching cupboard side. And I just use a piece of melamine that's a scrap that happens to be 8 inches tall. Usually I do it about 7 inches. And then, but then to accommodate the 3/4 inch base that I'm going to do down here, I just make it 8 inches, figuring that nobody's going to want a shelf lower than about 7 inches. So, just wanted to make sure as I was putting these side by side that it really was going to start at the same height, so that I wouldn't have a shelf that's off. So I've got the jig. Right here, it's just plastic. It's got reinforced steel on the inside so that it won't wear out. And you just, like I use this, and I just put this up against it. That's how I know it's always the same. And on here I've got measure for shelf holes. So that's my starting point. And I'll just get this in. And when you first put this in, there's a little lock on here to set it for how deep you want to go, because you don't want to go through your shelf, and I really don't want to go through the shelf into the kitchen counter, but that's all set. And this is a pin. I'll show you in just a minute what that's for. So just hold that down there and drill. And then after I've got one in, I'll use this to anchor it, to make sure the others are the right distance apart. So I'll do that one. And I think since I'm right here, I've got the board here, I'm going to actually do this other side from this side. And I'll lock that one down. Make sure these others are all exactly the same apart. And then I'll just pull this up, dump that out, and then use the last one that you did to just put this in, lock it in tight, and then you can start, and they're always the same distance apart. Pull it out. Might have to wiggle it a little bit. Move it across. Lock it down, make sure it's in tight, and hold it up against here. I'll just keep going. Probably one more time, and I'll stop up here. I really don't need to go to the end. I have on some, but I can't imagine someone wants to do 4 inches up at the top. Have a 4-inch shelf. I'm just going to leave that one, not even do it. And then for these others, I'm just going to flip it around. So I have just a little easier access. Put the pin in and continue.
Okay, it's on.
Okay, now I'm going to pick this up, and you see where the holes are. And find the end one. You're going to put that right in the hole and continue that up. Quite easy once you get the first one locked in. And just wiggle it sometimes. So there's a little lip right here that you put against the edge here. So when you're working your way up, you find the end one, put this in, and you can see it coming. You can see it coming through, and so you just put that in that end one. Make sure this is locked against the side, and then you just continue on up. Now you'll see that this bit is quite long. If I was to just do it right here, it's longer than what's available. And I'd go clear into the cabinet here, but there's this space here that it's got to go through, and really the only part that's left is that little bit. And what I did is I measured how much was coming through, and I used one of the posts that you put in these holes to see how far I wanted it to come out, and that's how much I had come through. So, okay, so we got these done. Just going to finish them off here. And then you just finish off the process by lifting that up, moving to the last one, putting this in, finding that hole and locking it in, and working the rest of the way up. And that's the process, and your holes will be lined up perfectly. And so when you put your shelf or your cabinet together and your shelves in, they should work perfectly. And here's the other side of the cabinet, and I'll use this piece as a spacer at the bottom, so everything lines up perfectly when I've got them all done. So that's the process.